Think out of the box. In today's world, you have to. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're not going to get anywhere. You've got to be out of the box, and man, that's a high side right there.
That is. That's right on the high side.
That's putting the whole car up in the cushion.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. I mean, again, I've got sponsors. A guy I called, I said, Kevin, did you see your name on the side of the car? He owns Best Owner Direct Heating and Air Conditioning in Cornelius, Oregon. He said, I did. He said, how much do I owe you? He said, I wanted the whole car last year. He said, how much you charging me this year? I said, I don't know. Let's start with $500 maybe now and maybe $500 down the road. And he said, okay, I'll send you a check. So, like I say, I just put their names on here and the rest just happens. And it's the same with the CBAP school here in Forest Grove. You know, that just kind of evolved, went down and talked to them a little bit. My mom worked for the school district for 33 years. I'm well known in town. And they said, heck yeah, we're on board. You bring those cars down here, we'll have all the kids go through, and it works. Like I say, we kind of do things backwards here.
I don't say backwards.
We're too far out in the country, and that's the way we do it. But
I think it's great.
I've lived here forever, so everyone knows me.
I love how you're doing it. That's awesome. It's 2017. As far as your race team goes, how have things gone for you so far?
Well, we started out with one idea that we were just going to go up to Elma and try to get Gumby used to a track, a fast track. We were going to run the wing mostly, go non-wing some, and he looked a little overwhelmed for putting the wing on there the first time, and I think before that he'd raced maybe 4 or 5 times, once with the wing with the Western Tour at Banks, and he did all right. That was the year before. He'd raced, I think, 3 or 4 races without the wing, and it's just damn fast up there at Elma.
Yes, it is.
With the wing on. So, like I say, he said he was comfortable, but I wasn't. So we decided, hey, let's take the wing back off, and let's go race some wingless stuff. You look way more comfortable doing that. And so he's done real well, and Jake has done well. We've been up to Madras. I think Jake was running second, headed for first up there, and he ran the brakes right off of it. Accident in front of him, and he had nothing left, so he exited the track out into the pucker brush. Down at Cottage Grove, I don't know why Jake don't like it down there. He doesn't like that high side. That wall comes up too quick. And so I think we're probably around 5th or 6th in points, and we've only ran maybe half the races, or maybe a little more, with Jake, and I think Gumby's just behind him a little bit. Gumby typically finishes around the 7th, 6th spot, somewhere in there, and Jake finishes normally around the 3rd spot. So we're doing okay. It's hard. We don't race as much as we could, but I also want to live a while, so I can't run every weekend as hard as I want doing it all myself. I've got to kind of, a couple weekends a month is plenty for me.
Well, it's a lot of work. 2 cars, traveling up and down the road, unloading, loading. That's a lot of work for one guy. I mean, even 2 guys, it's a lot of work. But man, it sounds like you guys are having a pretty good season so far.
Yeah, again, it'll get better. Gumby's new, and he'll do just fine. It's hard to take the racer out of him, and say, just race the track, get comfortable, get that thing stuck, work on your entry, exit, the middle. It'll come to you, but a lot of power, not a lot of weight. It's no 4-cylinder. It's not a Hornet. You got to use your head.
Yeah, use the throttle to turn those cars, too.
Yeah, and he's racing a lot of guys that have been doing it a long time. That wingless crew, for the most part, they're mostly veterans. They've been running quite a number of years. I mean, we've gone with some of them. We went with Weedman down to Arizona. He did real well down there in that January race down at Peoria. I don't know what they call that wingless race down there.
Right.
Racing with Clausen and Timez and all of them. I think he ended up 8th one night, and we crew chiefed that car for him, and he did real well.
Very cool.
So a lot of these guys, they got a lot more experience, and you jump in there, they're going to pass you, and that's okay. Get comfortable.
Well, and that's the thing with Battaglia, with Gumby. You're not getting a rookie driver that doesn't know how to race. He knows how to race. Just getting comfortable in the car and is going to be, I think, the biggest thing for him. Like you say, get comfortable, because he does know how to race. It's not just getting in the car and go out and run in circles. So I think by the time it all comes around for him, I think he's actually going to be he'll be a quality driver in that division.
Yeah, he will. There's no doubt about it. I've been around that kid when I used to drink, he used to drive me home from the racetrack when he was 14 years old. I'd tell him, well, you ever drove a Corvette? Drive me home.
I love it.
I'm only 14. I said, I don't care.
I don't care.
What are they gonna
You're
do,
sober.
Throw me in jail for letting you drive? They'll throw me in jail if I'm driving, so you drive.
Very cool. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. So, well, and I know he can drive. We've seen him win a lot of races in the 4B or the Hornet division, whatever you want to call it. I mean, and he is not afraid to get every ounce of performance out of a car. I expect to see his name at the top of the list in the winner's circle, here shortly.
Numerous times.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will. That's why he's sitting in the car, and he takes care of a car.
Yeah.
He does a good job about not tearing it up, and that's really a priority to me. You can put it on the edge, and you can try to get that trophy, and you're going to wreck a car way more often doing that and you learn less when you don't finish.
That's true.
You learn more when you get all 30 laps or 25, depending on what they're running, and finish. And you learn how to get the most out of your car as the race goes on.
Mm-hmm.
You race 5-6 laps, stack it up. You didn't learn anything.
That's right. Learn how to wreck a car.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Yeah, and my kid does, he's been driving for years, but not a lot. We do typically, I suppose, about 10 races a year. He raced for the first few years just out at Sunset. That's when, Schramm had that limited class out there. I think they were all his cars.
Yeah.
They asked us to run with them. We actually had a motor, a little more than a limited motor, but that's all right. He was new. And so he learned a lot out there. Problem is that when we transitioned and moved out to other tracks, then, of course, he didn't know anything, had to start over. Because Banks is Banks. I raced at Banks in the 90s. We raced a 64 Chevelle, I did, and I still got my 36 Ford. We raced with those RT, or OTRA, or OTRO, I guess, Oregon old timers.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen those down in Southern Oregon?
Yep.
Yeah, I raced with those guys for years.
Those are cool cars. So you ran with Mike Batman and those guys?
I keep threatening to break this one out and take it down there. I know McCann real well.
Yeah.
I raced with McCann for years. We raced in the Speedway, in fact, in those old-time cars. He finished ahead of us.
That's cool.
I think he got third that night, and we got fourth, or he got second, we got third, whatever, at the Open Wheel Spectacular in there.
Yeah, those are neat cars, too. Have you guys ever had a chance to see those? They run them on the Roseburg, on the asphalt track down there, too, and that's where I've seen them. They're fun to watch. You're talking about,
they are.
You're going back decades, generations, and seeing some of that old school racing. It's really neat. It's a thing to see. It's really cool.
Well, I tell you what, I'm really excited about seeing this autism awareness.
Yeah, let's talk about what kind of setup you're bringing and what we're going to do to raise autism awareness at Willamette Speedway when you guys are there.
We'll just put a standard setup on it. It seems like every time I just go to one setup, and then we just move a little from there. I've got good equipment, easily adjustable, shocks and double adjustable. So I throw something stable under them and then let Jake bitch about it. And so I change his car, and then Gumby says, I don't know. So I typically change his in about the same direction I go with Jake's. Okay. And it works, except at Cottage Grove. Jake just hates that place. He's hit that wall enough times that he says, no, we're going to the bottom. So we suck him into the bottom and run that bottom hard. Willamette, that doesn't put you up front, but it keeps you safe and allows those guys that want to run that cushion to do it without a lot of traffic up there.
Grove is a tricky place.
Yeah, we don't. Again, we're probably not going to win. I can say that with pretty good confidence, but I can say we'll finish, and we'll have a good time in the pits afterwards. Get all the kids to come over and sign the car, and both cars. Jake has them sign his as well. I've got some puzzle pieces on there as well, and we have a good time. We'll come down there with, I think there'll be probably 2 or 3 motorhomes and some campers, and we'll stick around for the night and light a fire and have a barbecue, and we hang out.
We're hanging out with you Saturday night.
That's right.
That's funny you say that, because last time we were down there, I think every official from the track was hanging out with us. We cooked a lot of burgers and a lot of hot dogs. I think it was Gumby's birthday last year when we were down there, and I'll bet you there were 75 people in our area the time we got done eating.
It's gonna be a good time.
Well, we might, depending on how the schedule goes Saturday night, we'll probably come out and visit you in the pits anyway.
No doubt.
But we might be able to get some interaction going with the crowd and you guys in between races or while they prep the track.
We'll definitely do something for the autism.
See what we can do to help. Anything we can do.
And what we used to do years ago, and I say, last year, the year before, I carried Habitat for Humanity on the car, on Gumby's car for, God, I don't know, I bet it's been 5 years. We carried it every year. And then what we did is we would do 50-50 drawings and then give the money to Habitat, and we would also sponsor the races out there. Habitat would go in with us. My wife's bank would go in with us, and we would buy 100 tickets, and from Nikki out there at Sunset, and all our sponsors would come in. We'd just hand out tickets to everybody. And I don't know, this year, like I said, we ventured away and went to the autism awareness, and I'm trying to figure out how to do the same types of things, but being that we just put it on the car, and I do everything backwards, I always kind of let it come to me. And my wife works with the president of one of the autism organizations here in Oregon, and so it will all come. Eventually, we'll be doing the same types of things where we buy 100 tickets and sponsor a race and do drawings and raise money, and it's just it takes a little bit for me to get it going because I tend to do all this by myself. I've got a little help from Gumby's wife, Sandra. She's playing the PR girl this year.
Well, she's doing a good job.
In fact, that's the reason I'm on here.
That's right.
Because she ducked it and said, "Here's his phone number. Call him."
Yep. Yeah, and we're glad to help out, and we'll definitely do some stuff with you at the racetrack to help raise autism awareness. If you guys want to bring a table and set it up and hand out some material, that'd be cool too. I know the track will probably support that, and we are looking forward to working with you. We were just sitting here talking real quick while you were informing us what's going on, and we wanted to put our reservations in out there at the campsite. Warren and I are going to have hamburgers. Joel says he wants a hot dog.
We'll have all that. I got a son-in-law that loves to cook, and he'll be there. You can't get him away from the barbecue.
Well,
and the tables, I carry, I think 2 or 3 tables in my motorhome, and they're always full of food. Everybody starts showing up, and the food starts hitting the tables, and Mike Schweer and Freya and
great people.
Everybody shows up there with soups, and it's pretty amazing, actually, the amount of food that shows up outside the motorhome. It's like, wow, where'd all this come from? And then I look and notice all the people. I said, well, that must be where it came from.
Well, get ready because we're going to show up and we're going to party with you guys. It's going to be a good time, and we will do everything we can to help raise autism awareness at Willamette Speedway for this event and whatever we can do to help out later on the season as well.
All right. I really appreciate that.
You bet, Mr. Gilman.
We appreciate your calling in, Jeff.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for bringing awareness.
You bet, bud. Have a great day, and we'll help you out. We'll see you Saturday.
Okay.
Take
you
care.
very much.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Good dude.
That is a busy man.
He is. That's a lot of work for one guy.
And
2
I love his
cars.
dyslexic approach.
Yeah. That's the first time I've heard of somebody approaching it that way, and if it's working, keep doing it,
We were talking
man.
about that on the phone, and I didn't comment to him because I'm thinking about it in my head, like, really? You do what?
Yeah.
What?
Well, you and I, we're all looking around each other. It's like, that worked? That works? Wait a second. There's a lot of racers out there right now taking notes, listening to that conversation.
Yeah. But it's all, it boils down to autism awareness and about the kids.
It is.
And that's what's so cool about what he's doing.
It's cool to see programs like that, and Widescreen's got that posted up on Moxie. And, if you're interested in helping out with that program, give those guys a call, contact them, and it's neat to see people. We're all about stuff like helping the kids.
You bet.
And what we'll do whatever we can to help those guys out and in the future. And I like seeing those type of situations where drivers are helping, any type of kids programs, whether it's, softball